Welcome to the regular meeting of the Jamaica Select Board. Today is Monday, December 9th, and it is 7 p.m. Thank you all for joining. First order of business is to call for any late additions to the agenda.
I have a couple, actually.
Great, please.
Yeah.
One is to discuss our next meeting, which is scheduled for December 23rd,
Great.
whether we have it or not.
Yep.
The second, just in general, a budgeting update, the budget meeting update
Schedule the budget
process.
meetings. Yep.
I would like to just give a quick update on a couple of grants that we are planning to seek from the roads perspective, the roads side of things. And not to overwhelm, but I have then just want to give a little bit of an update on the sidewalks and roads and things, and not relative to this storm, but just how things are going for the start of the winter.
Wonderful. Thank you. Any other related, you've covered two of mine, so any other
Okay.
additions? Okay, seeing none, I'll move to the next order of business, which is that I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the November 25th regular meeting.
Second.
Thank you, Kate. Any discussion of the minutes? Hearing no discussion, I'll call the vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Hi.
All right, thank you. All right, the next order of business is our standing FEMA update. Anything to share, Greg, on that?
Uh, no real earth-shattering news as far as any of the projects go. We actually did have um, a transition meeting, which basically closes out the December storm. That one was a little bit more simple than the July one. So that what that means is it kind of all the administration shifts to the state. So FEMA is not directly involved with that anymore. They have all the information they need. It's now just kind of working through the flow of money, anything, kind of working on the projects that aren't completed yet, and any other mitigation money that might be there. The July storm is still, we're very, very close. I know Sarah and Mary have been um, really, just kind of spending lots of time digging out all these last minute little details of a few things that are missing. So we're moving on that. Still no news on the Mountain Brook project as far as moving it toward mitigation. It's still within the environmental review process at the state. Nobody seems to know why it's taken so long. Jim doesn't. I mean, Jim and Geraldo are hounding people as much as they can, more than weekly. So it's I don't. It's just kind of it's getting old. But anyways,
Right, right. But it
um,
sounds like resources are being allocated to its
yeah,
approval.
to try to figure out what it is, why it's taken so long. I mean, there's nothing showing up as what they need, that they need anything.
Right. Okay. All right. Any questions on that update? Okay, terrific. Then I'm going to quickly move to the next one. Kate, I didn't have a chance to say to you before the meeting, but after I circulated the draft of the warning regarding next steps with respect to Jamaica Village School, Karen pointed out that I had missed an article. So I've actually recirculated the draft with four articles. So I'm just going to quickly walk through the draft for everyone. Basically, it anticipates a vote at a meeting on Tuesday, January 14th, and a special information meeting. We had discussed potentially 1 week before or a little over a week before, so we can set that date. We can discuss that date today. And in it, it's slightly repetitive because the first part of the article is to describe the subject matter of the information session. And the subject matter is the four proposed articles. And then the second part of the warning is the warning of the actual meeting, and that there will be a vote on the very same four articles. And then we will each sign the warning and date it. I still need legal review sign off, which I'll get this week. We need to issue this warning by the 13th, so we have a little wiggle room and we could have a quick phone special session to approve the final version. So just to remind everybody, the four articles are as follows. The first is essentially a duplicate of language that has potentially being approved again tonight at a meeting of the West River Education District, which would be a vote of the town members to either in the affirmative or not, allowing the district to close Jamaica Village School on or before June 30th, 2025. The second article is to ask the voters whether they will um, approve the purchase of Jamaica Village School from the district under the terms of the Articles of Agreement. The third is whether the voters of the town of Jamaica would vote to withdraw from the West River Modified Unified Education District. And then finally, um, whether the voters would agree to seek an amendment to the articles to provide that the district develops policies and programs for offering school choice outside of the district for all grades. Um, I think what I need to get advice on is phrasing Articles 3 and 4 in the alternative, or if it's legally consistent to actually allow the town to vote for both. Because they can. I mean, technically, we could vote to start the process to exit the district, but also vote to have school choice outside the district. So that's my summary. Any questions or changes or discussion on that?
I had a question, maybe just as a point of my personal understanding. In Article 4,
Yep.
where it says to seek an amendment to the Articles of Agreement approved by the electorate of the Jamaica Town School District. What is the Jamaica
Right.
Town School District?
All right. So if you go back, and thank you, Sarah, for pulling out all the documentation for me, um, in among other things, around the town's vote uh, to sign on to the Articles of Agreement. At that time, the town of Jamaica had a school district.
Right.
And under the statutes, it was a vote of all the members of the school district, not a vote of the members of the legal voters of the town of Jamaica generally. I think it was basically an overlapping group. I don't know, but I suspect. However, technically, it was not a vote of the town
Right.
the citizens of the town of Jamaica. It was the members of the school district, which, for example, in Stratton, as an example of a remaining single town school district, is in fact all legal voters in Stratton. So I suspect it was probably the same. I don't know, Sarah, if that's something you remember.
That happened like the day I started, so I'm not overly familiar with it.
Right.
I know it was happening, and I think you're right. I think it means the district, as in all the towns in the district, would vote. But this
Yeah.
should just be for
Oh,
the
right. Right.
Okay. I was just a little confused because I thought once the West River Educational District was formed, the Jamaica Town School District kind of went away.
It did.
And
So
so
when
now it's
I'm
asking them to take action on something, and if they don't exist, how can they take action on
No,
something?
we're not. We're not.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
was using that to create a defined term, and by the way, I've since refined it again. So you're going to see a new version. So I needed to create the defined term, the articles. So what to define the term articles, I had to refer to um, that those articles of agreement that were approved by um, the members of the Jamaica Village of the what was it again? The electorate of the Jamaica Town School District on such and on at what year was that, Sarah? 2015?
It started in 17 and it
17?
became real in 18 is what
Right. So I think
the
I have to just look up the date. So that's why you see the reference to the Jamaica Town School District. And I can send everybody what Sarah sent to me, which were the warnings for the meeting where the articles of agreement were voted on.
Okay.
Anything
Okay. Yep.
else?
Yep. Unless somebody else has something, I had one other question.
Please.
I'm not sure, and I may have brought this up before. What is the urgency of calling a special vote as opposed to pushing it to town meeting when we can expect to have a better participation?
So, I mean, I can pull up the minutes for you, Greg, but it was discussed at more than one meeting and probably being discussed again tonight that the district feels that they will not have enough time to finalize their budget for purposes of the vote of the
The
school
district budget.
district, the district budget,
Yeah.
unless they know whether they've gotten up or down from us by January 14th.
Okay. That
That
makes sense.
that vote comes from them.
Right,
That date
right.
comes from them. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And then obviously their vote is a separate meeting in March, but they still need to have that ready to go and warned and all that good stuff. Yep. Okay.
Yes, yes,
Because
yes.
I mean, just I don't know what the averages are, but I mean, I'm guessing maybe 10% of the people would participate in a special meeting versus if we had it on town meeting day, we'd get a lot more participation. But I see the point
Yeah.
of that needing that
Right.
information in advance.
I hear that. I mean, I think during the warning period, um, we should, we can push out information. I'm sure we can do that on Facebook. We will have the information session in
Hmm.
advance. And I will say, it seems to me that there is relatively good engagement.
Yes, yes, yes. Yep.
More maybe than I recall, from pre-COVID and even kind of during COVID. It just feels like I think we'll get more than 10%.
Yeah, okay. No, I feel that same way, that there's
Right.
actually a lot more people, there's a buzz and discussion around this already.
Right. And I take, for example, the level of participation in the survey that was issued by the Planning Commission for the town meeting and the town plan kickoff. I mean, both of which were extremely well attended
Yes.
and people had done their homework. So fingers crossed. I hear you.
No, that makes sense, though. Thank you.
We asked, but it
And
just,
thank you for your time and effort put into this so far, and you and Karen and a bunch of other people, I'm sure.
yeah, yeah, group effort for sure. Any other questions on this? So I think for you guys, I'm just gonna pick a date about, 9 or 10 days in advance of the meeting. Um, and I'll add in the missing information. I'm tweaking this a little. I'm gonna make sure I get sign off from council, and then I'll recirculate in a day or two and probably, just call a meeting, a phone Zoom meeting, that at least three of us can be on, to quickly approve it. But it sounds like at least in content, uh, no objections. So thank you very much, everybody. Um, okay, so I will move on to the review and approval of the errors and omissions certificate. Um, Sarah, thankfully, recirculated it to us in an email along with the accounts payable and payroll. information. And essentially, there are 4 parcels for which the listers had identified errors or omissions and are requesting the board approve these changes. Um, the first 3, and Sarah, just correct me if I'm misstating this at all. The first 3 result from the fact that um, um, they are owned currently. The first 2 parcels, all 3 parcels are owned by family members. Um, when it was taxed in a combined fashion previously, and when it was separated, a couple of errors happened. One of the parcels, a house which was not on that parcel, was included in that um, tax bill. And then Michelle DeConnick's parcel was one he took over after the passing of the mother. And so that had to be broken out. And so those 3 change corrections need to be made. The last one is land that is owned by the Vermont Land Trust that has a house on it. The house is taxed separately, and the land trust property was not taxed at all. I mean, what was taxed, obviously very little. It was $21.92, but VLT is tax exempt. So that has to be changed to 0. Um, Essentially, what Karen was able to share with me in concise fashion is that the combined impact of the errors and omissions was actually to cause a gain of $138.81 in total for the town. So not much, but at least there was not a loss. So with that, I will make a motion to approve the errors and omissions certificate as has been provided to the board. Second.
Oh, second. Okay, got me first.
Right. Great. Any further discussion? Seeing no discussion, I will call the vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Hi.
Thank you. Um, Now, I was asked to add a proposal from the Jamaica Community Arts Council to the meeting tonight, but there is no one here to make it. Um,
I I'm
oh,
here from the
oh,
Jamaica
Andrew,
Community Arts
sorry, I
Council.
did not see you. Thank
That's
you. Thank
okay.
you. Great, great. Please proceed.
Okay, great. So thanks everybody. I'm Andrew Ghosh. It's really nice to meet you all. I've met some of you. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. So I'm representing the Jamaica Community Arts Council. So there are some new faces on the council, and I'm one of them. And we're planning to do a bunch of exciting stuff in 2025. So, just some of you probably already know this, but, our mission is to plan, promote, and execute events here in Jamaica, everything from like yoga to fundraisers to concerts and more. And we're always looking for feedback from the community on the types of events that they'd like to see. And we're also looking for folks to join our efforts and support this type of programming in Jamaica. So we encourage people to find us on Facebook or Instagram if they want to get involved. So we have a couple items that we wanted to discuss today. The first is we understand that there was a contract in place for the Arts Council to use the town hall for events. So we'd like to talk about renewing that contract in 2025. I understand it was something like $25 to use the town hall per event. So we're hoping to just move forward with the same terms if possible. And, if we want to discuss further, I'm happy to share my contact details as a follow-up. And the second is we wanted to discuss the topic of insurance. So from talking with Karen, our understanding is that communities around us don't require organizations like ours to carry insurance, and instead the town carries insurance, which would cover any organizations that are planning or executing events in the town hall. So we'd like to explore that possibility in 2025. And that would enable us to invest more into community and into the events we want to throw for everybody. So thanks for the opportunity, and I look forward to working with y'all.
Great. Thank you so much. Now, just with a little history, I remember Tom Tolbert sort of, being the point person on that agreement with the Arts Council. Was that, Sarah, do you know, was that in writing? Like, is that,
Yes.
Yeah, I can pull a copy of it. We have it at the office.
could you
Yeah,
circulate to the
there
board?
was a
Oh, perfect.
memorandum of understanding, I think it was. I mean, I don't think it was officially a contract, but an MOU.
Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what it was. Yep.
Yeah, if you could circulate that, we could dust that off. And Andrew, actually, before the meeting began, we suspected that the issue of the cost to self-insure if you were going to rent the town hall, whether it be the Arts Council or some other third party, um, is somewhat atypical for this area, number one, and number two, cost prohibitive. So we're going to do a little research and with our insurance provider, which is VLCT, and see why we just kind of understand why. Like, is there a gap? I mean, is there a way for us to um, leverage our existing policy to cover potential liability and what that would cost and if it's within our budget. And so, I mean, I personally am in favor. I'm in favor of renewing the MOU. I think we should take a look at it. It's probably pretty old and rickety, and maybe doesn't cover everything, Andrew, that you would want it to cover.
Okay.
Um, and and then we could formally adopt it in the first meeting in January. I think that's a reasonable amount of time to get the insurance situation straightened out as well.
Okay. That sounds great. Thank you. Thank you for the context. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Anybody else have thoughts or questions or comments for Andrew?
Just thank you for what you're doing.
You're here.
Of course, thank you all for what you're doing. I mean, we're just trying to be part of the community.
Great, great. Thank you. All right, terrific. Thank you so much. So I'm going to go now to the added matters, and I'm going to steal your first two, Greg. The
Okay.
first of which is I'm going to make a motion that we cancel the regular meeting that would otherwise be held on December 23rd and hold our next regular meeting on the 13th of January.
I'll second.
Great. Any discussion of that? This is our traditional, um, pardoning of the board.
I have a comment. I am all for it, absolutely, but we need to send out bills that week because it really messed me up last year not sending bills that
Ah.
week. So I'm still gonna do a warrant and circulate it that week just to get the bills out, but that's
Okay.
just I don't want to get behind like I did last year. It was a mess.
Okay. And you know what? We'll ratify it on the 10th. How's that? Right? Not the 10th, excuse me. We'll ratify it on the 13th, Sarah. Is that what you're thinking? Or do you want us to have a little meeting? Oh, you know what? I can't hear you, hon. You're on
You're
mute.
muted.
Okay.
It's whatever works for you. I don't want to get behind like that again. It was a very yucky feeling and I don't like
Right.
that.
No, absolutely.
So
You know
if
what?
we could,
Circulate it to us.
yeah,
Review. If there's any issues, of course, we can raise it.
yep.
And then I'll probably move to ratify it at the meeting on the 13th,
Okay, that sounds
along
good.
with the new warrants.
Yep.
Any objection to that, guys?
No,
No?
that sounds good.
Okay, seeing no objection, I'll call the vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Hi.
Hi.
Great. Thank you, guys. The next item that I'm stealing from Greg
Or
is
I stole from you.
is to share with you a discussion that Sarah and I had about timing for the first meeting to review the budget and the second, potentially third, if we need it. We would like to schedule a meeting/working session next week, either Tuesday the 17th or Thursday the 19th of December. And a little more on the early side, like 5 o'clock. I can do either one of those days. Can you guys kind of take a thought?
I can do either.
Tuesday's better, but I could make it maybe a few minutes short on Thursday, but Tuesday's but for sure.
All
I
right.
prefer Tuesday too, so that's fine with me, Greg.
Great, great, fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a motion that we schedule the first budget meeting working session for Tuesday, the 17th of December at 5 p.m.
Second.
Thank you, Paul. Oh, Greg. I was looking at Paul on my screen. Um, any discussion on that? Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Great. We would then, depending on the level of effort, I think we would probably, Sarah, do our second working session in similar fashion the week of January 6th. That still gets us in plenty of time. We will have had 2 full sessions. And we could even squeak in a third if we need it before we have to publish. So again, a Tuesday or a Thursday, the 7th or the 9th at 5 o'clock. Anybody have any thoughts on those 2 dates?
Same
No,
thing. It's good.
Is Tuesday preferable that week also, or indifferent?
either for me.
I
Sarah,
like Tuesday.
Tuesday? Yeah, it's earlier in the week. So I'm going to make a motion that our second budget meeting, working session be scheduled for January 7th at 5 p.m.
Second,
It wasn't a
Thank you.
12-person orgy. It was 15. We apologize to the 3 we left out.
What was that? What was that?
somebody trying to join and
Good job, Sarah. See you later. Alla la vista.
He just came in. I thought it was Peter Golrick. And
Yeah,
so I
it was-
let him in, not thinking twice. Then I'm on my other screen and I heard that. I came in and muted him. Then I figured out how to boot him.
something about an orgy.
Yeah, I heard that and I was like, wait a minute, that's not my people.
I mean, and more than a dozen people involved either way. So pretty exciting. That's certainly the most exciting thing.
Gross.
All right.
Okay, let
Okay.
me
So
finish
now I got to
this
get this
now.
conversation back on track. So, seeing no further discussion, I'm going to call the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
I
Aye.
Thank you. All right. So great. So Greg, now I'm going to turn it back to you to the 2 other items that you raised for late additions.
Certainly. There are a number of grant applications that come due at the end of the year related to the roads or highways. And then there's another kind of round different set of grants in the springtime. So a couple that are happening now or have happened. One of them is that we have received a Better Roads Category A grant for $8,512 to use to update our roads inventory. So this
Great.
Great.
is kind of the backbone to meeting the municipal road standards. We really haven't updated anything. We've done a lot of work on the roads, but not to the actual database in 6 or 8 years
Yeah.
since. So this is an ongoing thing. We have until the end of or October 31st, 2027. So it's not an immediate urgency to get it done way fast. We can kind of divvy it up too. We can outsource some of it. We can internalize some of it, using our planning commission or any our roads crew or town administrator in the future, things like that. So it's a very positive thing. I think it'll kind of get us up to speed on at least assessing our roads, and then we'll know where we need to focus.
Right.
There's 2 other ones that I've been speaking with Colin Bratton at the Wyndham Regional regarding. One of them, actually, there's 2 potential sites for a municipal highway mitigation grant. One of them that we looked at was the culvert on Goodyville Road, and we kind of focused there in discussion with him and Keith what we need and what we theoretically, hopefully, have with FEMA have mitigation money coming down the road, projects that are on their list, so to speak. So we looked at things that weren't on their list. It's not it's not 100. We're not obligated that we're going to receive those things, but that's one of the reasons we looked at the culvert on Goodyville Road. Unfortunately, it has had an H&H hydraulic study done on it. It basically requires a 5 foot tall, 14 foot wide box culvert. We thought we might be able to get by with just a large regular culvert and fit it into this grant category. So we will punt that one and apply in the spring for a structures grant, which go up to 200,000. So it would only still be a portion of that. But in the spring, we can reassess where we're at with our current budget, with our FEMA funding, those types of things too. But there's also on Goodyville Road a stream bank kind of deterioration right along the road just south of the Goodyville Bridge. Wasn't really seen or known about until this midsummer. It probably has been an ongoing thing over the course of the past couple storms. I'm guessing that maybe last winter a few trees had fallen and it became much more obvious. So we're going to seek a municipal highway mitigation grant for that, roughly $70,000 to restore that bank. It's where the Winhall Brook really just it butts up right against Goodyville Road. There's a fairly good likelihood that we will receive that. And we also, the other one that we kind of evaluated was through the Transportation Alternatives Program. There's a lot of different things that could fall into these things, anywhere from culverts to studies, things like that, as far as town planning goes. And I think it popped up through the town planning process. I know Karen had mentioned it too, doing an assessment or needs assessment of, I guess that's the right terminology, of the sidewalks in town, and looking at Depot Street and connecting the school, connecting the state park, connecting the village. We've also decided that, and this is where I want to bring it forward. We don't need to vote on it, or we can, but it would be eligible for a $50,000 grant through the Transportation Alternatives Program, but it also is eligible for a grant through the Bike and Pedestrian Program that comes due in the spring. And part of my thinking is that kind of in this flux of budget where we're at now with having to borrow money in advance of FEMA funding and things like that, we maybe weren't ready to commit to this. There'd be a $10,000 town match that would more or less probably hit next summer. I'm seeing this as a project that we'd get the study done. The actual work wouldn't be completed until, I mean, if everything moves forward in the best world, that it wouldn't be done until the bridge is done, which is the summer of 2028. So we still have a little bit of time to be looking at this. There's a lot of other little culverts and things like that we could have put in for that we can put in. I say little, they could go up to 4 foot culverts. But I didn't really want to overwhelm and just kind of go after every single grant out there. Let's go after the ones that we're really in need of, and with a better hope that we're going to receive them. So that's my presentation, and I welcome other thoughts.
So the ones, I do love the idea of having a proposal prepared, a feasibility study and proposal prepared for that area that includes sidewalks and paths, etc. I mean, we know we need it, we know we want it, but to have the money to actually have it prepared by an engineer is very alluring. The $10,000, is it a $10,000 match? Like we get $10,000 if we put $10,000 to it? Is that
No,
it?
we get 40.
Oh, we get 40.
It's a total of a $50,000 grant, and they seem, from what Colin was saying, they're pretty much cookie cutter type of thing, so that's the cost, no matter the size or scope or definition of the projects. So it would be an outlay of the town of $10,000, matching the 40,000 from the state.
Right. And the expenditure would be next year.
It would be in next year.
Next year. It would be
Right,
after July 1.
right,
So we would have to include it in the budget.
right.
But we could vote that now and include it in the budget.
Yeah.
Right.
The due date on these grants are December 27th, so they can't really wait till finalized budget. That was the other thing I was thinking we could still budget it and go through with the grant request through the bike and pedestrian grants in March. I don't know if it probably doesn't really matter if we're putting the cart in front of the horse at this
Right.
point, but
But in order to submit the application, we need a vote of the board.
no,
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 because we're not obligated to do anything, even if
we're not
granted it.
obligated to do it if we receive
All
the
right, so then we're going to submit the application, right? Or what do
Well,
you
my
think?
thinking was that we would submit it through the bike and pedestrian grant funding round
Oh,
in the
in March.
spring,
Okay.
so that we'd have a little bit more time to gather our appetite, I guess, for spending $10,000. But maybe we're fine, and we can still discuss that at our budget meetings.
I mean, I defer to you. I mean, you've expertised yourself very, to
It
our benefit.
probably in the long run doesn't matter. I
Okay.
mean, even in the short run doesn't matter, other than we know that we got it, which is kind of nice. We could spend a little bit. I don't think there's not a whole lot of effort needs to go into the grant application at this point, and Colin from Wyndham Regional is doing a lot of that work.
Doing it for us,
So we
right?
could say, yeah, let's just go for it now. We could get it, not get it. We could go for it again if we didn't get it.
For me, it's six of one, half a dozen of the other. I would defer to you and to Colin. Kate, did you have any thought on this?
Why not go for it if you can reapply? No.
Okay.
I
I
can
mean, in our
help you.
conversation, maybe it was just a matter of how much effort. I don't think it takes a whole lot I mean, he's got templates for these grant applications and we can just plug it in. Okay. That's
Like-
fine. I can take that. Yeah, exactly. I'm good.
I like Kate's point. It's like voting early and often.
Exactly.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
Great. Great. And is that the presentation? It sounds like
That is that on grants. Yes.
all right. I'm gonna go then back to the regular items on the agenda. Thank you, Sarah, for circulating the timesheets. So the first, I'll make a motion to approve the timesheets for the town office, listers, highway, and transfer station.
Second?
Thank you. Any questions or discussion of the timesheets? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Hi.
And thank you, Sarah, for circulating the warrants. I will next make a motion to approve the pay orders.
Second?
Thank you, Kate. Any discussion on the pay orders? Seeing no discussion, I'll call the vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Hi.
All right, so I will open the meeting
Actually,
for
Jessica, hang on one second. When I said that was all, I meant that was all for the grants. I did want to give an update on the sidewalks and roads, just.
Oh, yes.
But that's
sorry.
fine. I thought maybe you would go afterwards. I didn't, but
Okay. Well, we can do it now. That's
okay. And very quickly, I want a couple things, and it has nothing specifically to do with this snow, but we've been getting fairly good snow. The sidewalk little snowblower thing is awesome. I mean, it's been doing a great job
great.
even after having it sit there for a few days. It was powerful enough during that first storm to kind of cut through the crap that had frozen up. The downside of it is it's a little unwieldy, a little difficult, but I think they're getting a hand of it. I don't know if many of you may have heard that that Dennis was injured when the thing rolled off the sidewalk. He's been out for a few weeks. He's feeling good. He's anxious to get back to work, but the doctor recommended that he not. I've been talking to Keith about hopefully getting some other, light work around the garage to kind of get him back in doing stuff. So that aside, the thing has been working really well, and I think it's nice to see the sidewalks clear. We do have a new truck arriving very, very soon. It was one that we purchased probably
Oh,
2 years
God.
ago.
3.
So that should be here actually before Christmas. I mean, so a holiday gift for all of us. But also in the short term, the one we're kind of limping the other one in. We've got a fairly decent trade in, so we can't kind of just run it to the ground. But it's requiring now a new chain on the sander. So we've got 3 plows, but we're down to 2 sanders. So just so everybody knows, the sanding may not be as quick as it for the next few days at least. So, but everything seems to be going well. The sidewalks are doing well. The roads are clear and they're frozen now, which is nice. So that was my quick update.
Sidewalks were great. I mean, once someone got that, I think I saw Keith in it.
Keith used it on Monday morning, so it sat
Right.
from Thanksgiving till Monday. So in the past, if that would have happened, we would have had to wait till spring to get it back down to the concrete again. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it was really great. I was like
Right.
skipping along the sidewalk.
Yeah. Okay. That's my final.
All right. So now I will open the floor to public concerns. All right. Seeing no public concerns, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
All right.
Thank you.